The story starts and we see a man stood there, panicked, because he had unknowingly taken the lives of his own wife and children. As soon as he learned the truth, he decided to end his own life. Before dying, he mumbled something, and a mysterious smile appeared on his face. Within moments, the entire family was found dead by the riverside. The scene shifts. Now a man named Kevin Barrington is traveling with his family toward a village to live a peaceful and natural life. The greenery and open environment along the way lifted everyone's spirits. In the village, a property agent showed Kevin a big and beautiful house. The house looked brand new from the inside, which made Kevin and his wife, Veronica, very happy. The agent mentioned that although the house was quite old, it had been renovated multiple times and now felt no less than a modern villa. Just then, the agent paused for a moment, as if something had come to mind, but Kevin and Veronica took the house without hesitation. Although Kevin and his wife liked village life, their daughter Sarah Barrington didn't enjoy moving from the city to the village at all. She missed her friends and urban lifestyle. Still, she couldn't say anything against her parents' decision. Within a few days, the family went to the market to buy essential items. When they purchased goods from a local store and reached the cashier, her expression changed completely upon hearing that they were moving into that villa. On the way back home, Kevin felt like someone was standing in the nearby forest. But when he went closer, there was nothing there. He thought it might have been his imagination. The next day, Sarah complained that the mobile network didn't work properly there. To beat the boredom, she asked her mother to go jogging with her. On the other hand, Kevin and his son Mateo went for a walk in the forest when they saw an old broken-down mansion. Curious, Kevin peeked through one of the windows and saw a mannequin sitting facing a switched-off TV. Suddenly, a woman pointed a gun at him. The woman looked strange, wearing dirty clothes, disheveled hair, as if she was mentally unstable. She thought Kevin was a thief and threatened to kill him. Kevin was terrified, but just then Mateo arrived. As soon as the woman saw Mateo, she began to think he was her son. She told Mateo to come inside the house, but Kevin quickly signaled him to run away, which made the woman even angrier. She fired the gun, but it turned out to be empty. Then she started crying loudly, and Kevin took the chance to escape. On the way back, he met the society caretaker, Mr. Elijah. Kevin told him everything, and Elijah explained that the woman is mentally ill and doesn't harm anyone, just that people should avoid entering her area. He also told Kevin that the woman's son was in love with a village girl who was the daughter of a local community chief. The chief didn't approve of the relationship and arranged his daughter's marriage elsewhere. Upon hearing this, the girl jumped into a lake and ended her life. The boy tried to save her, but he too jumped in and drowned. Their bodies were never found. Now that place is called Love Valley, and it's not far from Kevin's new house. Elijah said that ever since that day, their souls wander around that area, and they don't like any outsiders coming there. Kevin didn't really believe all of it, but still thanked Elijah out of courtesy. At the same time, Kevin's wife and daughter, Sarah, had gone out for a morning jog and unknowingly reached Love Valley. The place was so beautiful that it looked like a painting made by an artist. Just then, Sarah started feeling tired and paused to catch her breath. When she tried to look for her mother again, she was nowhere to be seen. Sarah heard her mother's voice. Following the voice, she noticed it was coming from a hut. She slowly moved toward it and peeked inside. Sarah told her mother about the strange incident that had happened, but Veronica couldn't understand what she meant. Just then, the hut Sarah had seen suddenly turned into a pile of garbage. She was shocked and angrily walked away from there. When she returned home, she was still upset. Outside in the yard, Kevin was sweeping when he once again saw a shadow near the forest. When he tried to take a closer look, it seemed like it was Elijah, the society's caretaker. But the next moment, the shadow vanished. Kevin was startled. Inside, Mateo came running into Sarah's room and excitedly said that Elijah had told Kevin a mysterious village folktale. But Sarah dismissed it as nonsense, which upset Mateo, and he quietly walked away. As soon as Mateo left the room, he felt dizzy. He couldn't understand what was happening and thought maybe it was due to weakness or fatigue. The next morning at breakfast, Sarah saw that Mateo was eating something strange. Something like blood was dripping from his mouth, and he appeared to be chewing on something. Sarah was shocked and screamed loudly. When Kevin unwrapped the item wrapped in paper, it turned out to be just grape peels. Sarah grew suspicious that Mateo had hidden the real item somewhere and began to search through his belongings. But Veronica stopped him and said, "Don't suspect anyone without reason. After this incident, the atmosphere in the house became heavy. Everyone went to their respective rooms, and the peaceful morning turned into tension. The next day, Kevin was chopping wood in the yard when Elijah arrived there holding an electric saw. Kevin got scared. He thought Elijah might be there to harm him, but Elijah laughed and said he was just there to help since the machine cuts wood faster. Mateo saw all this and said, "Dad, Uncle Elijah didn't do anything wrong." Kevin realized his misunderstanding and apologized to Elijah. The two of them quickly finished all the work together. After finishing the work, Kevin asked Elijah, "You were in the forest yesterday, right?" "I saw you." Elijah said in surprise, "I haven't been that way in days." Kevin couldn't believe it. He was certain that the shadow he saw was Elijah. As the conversation went on, the atmosphere became tense, and Elijah left angrily. On the other hand, Mateo went alone into the forest to play. Suddenly, he saw a blurry shadow that disappeared in an instant. As Mateo tried to look at it more closely, a spirit started slowly walking towards him. When Kevin heard his son Mateo say that someone was following him, he immediately grabbed an axe and rushed outside. But despite looking all around, he didn't see anyone suspicious. Mateo said fearfully, "Was it a ghost? Like in those old village stories?" Kevin explained to him that those were just made-up tales told to scare children. Mateo felt a bit relieved and tried to calm himself down. Later that night, while Kevin was passing through the hall, he felt like a shadow just moved in front of him. He quickly turned on the light, but there was no one there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sarah heard some movement near the window. When she peeked outside, she saw a person standing out there. She got so scared that she hid in the corner of the wall. When she looked again, there was no one there. She thought maybe it was just her imagination, but then she suddenly felt dizzy and restless. Meanwhile, Mateo was in a deep sleep, but suddenly a strange noise came from his room. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw a shadow on the floor, like that of a spirit. He screamed in fear. Kevin and his wife Veronica rushed into Mateo's room. After hearing Mateo, Kevin thought that he was just scared by scary stories and had a nightmare. But Sarah interrupted and said, "No, Dad, Mateo is telling the truth. I also saw something strange." Then at 4 a.m., the whole family gathered for a meeting. Kevin still didn't believe in spirits. He suspected that maybe the society's caretaker, Elijah, was behind all of this, possibly because he didn't like them living there. Veronica completely disagreed with Kevin, saying that it's wrong to accuse someone just because of a story. Just then, Mateo suddenly shouted angrily, "Be quiet." Veronica was shocked that her son could talk to her like that. She moved toward him angrily, but Kevin stepped in and calmed the situation. Sarah was stunned. She had never imagined Mateo speaking to his mother like that. The next morning, Kevin again saw Elijah going toward the forest. When he quickly followed him, he found there was no path at all. Just then, he spotted Elijah's shadow running through the bushes in the distance. Kevin was now furious and began shouting loudly. In the evening, the whole family was having dinner, but everyone was silent. Just then, Veronica tried to get up after eating half her food, and as she lifted her eyes, she saw a dark figure roaming near the edge of the forest. Moments later, Mateo also saw that shadow, and eventually Sarah too saw the same figure moving between the trees. Kevin, frightened, rushed back home and started to take out his gun. Sarah and Mateo also came inside with him, but then something happened that no one could have imagined. It's as if Veronica came under someone's control. She suddenly picked up a knife and attacked Sarah. Kevin immediately restrained her, and Sarah quickly brought water and made Veronica drink it to bring her back to her senses. With the help of all three, Veronica finally calmed down, but no one could understand what had suddenly come over her. The next morning, Kevin was furious. Seeing Veronica's condition, he assumed it was all Eliza's doing. He had always found her suspicious. In his anger, he took his gun and went straight to confront Eliza. Eliza replied calmly, "It's not right to accuse me without any proof." Kevin gave her a stern warning. "If you're seen anywhere near our bungalow again, no one will be able to stop this bullet." But there was a strange smile on Eliza's face, as if she were part of some game. That night, Mateo began to feel scared again, thinking those old spirits might return. He ran to Sarah's room, where Sarah was crouched in a corner in fear. In a trembling voice, she said, "The two spirits are right here. Freddie and Lily are in this very room." When Kevin heard the children's screams and rushed in, he couldn't see any spirits. But through the window, he once again saw Eliza running toward the forest. Kevin quickly ran downstairs, grabbed his gun, and swore that today he would catch her no matter what. The children ran after him, but as soon as they opened the door, What they saw left everyone shocked. Kevin was searching for Eliza in the forest with a gun, but she was nowhere to be found. Tired and defeated, when he returned home, he saw that Veronica was not there. Just then, she quietly came and stood behind Kevin. Meanwhile, Sarah suddenly saw Lily's spirit approaching her and screamed loudly. But in reality, it wasn't Lily. It was actually Veronica. However, to Sarah's eyes, she looked like a ghost. Coulter also saw the spirit and ran out of the house in fear. Sarah remembered that Mateo was still inside the house, and she broke free and ran to save him. Kevin once again set out with a gun to look for Eliza, but as soon as he opened the door, Eliza was standing right there. By then, Mateo had hidden somewhere outside the house, and Veronica had also hidden in a corner. Suddenly, the sound of a gunshot echoed inside the house. Within moments, Kevin came running toward Mateo and said, "I finished Eliza." But in Mateo's eyes, it wasn't Eliza. It was the spirit coming toward him. Veronica returned home and saw Sarah lying unconscious on the ground. Just then, another gunshot was heard. Terrified, Veronica grabbed a knife and rushed inside. Kevin slowly approached the person he had shot, and as he got closer, he saw that it was none other than his own son, Mateo. The wrong person had been killed by his gun. Kevin fell to his knees and started crying uncontrollably. At that moment, he saw another shadow inside the house. He thought Eliza had come back in, and without wasting a second, he chased after it. Veronica ran to the riverbank, and Kevin arrived there shortly after. When he looked ahead, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was his wife. The two hugged and cried their hearts out. But the very next moment, with their heads bowed together, he accidentally pulled the trigger of his gun. And just like that, the entire family met their tragic end. In truth, behind this horrific story was the real culprit, Eliza from the village. She had fed everyone poisonous mushrooms, which caused them to hallucinate. After that, each family member began seeing the others as enemies, and unknowingly headed toward their own destruction. Eliza's only motive was that she didn't like city people coming and living on her land. At the end of the story, a new family comes to buy the old mansion. It seems the next victims have already been chosen. With this, the story ends here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.